Hello and welcome to the daily current affairs discussion. So today is Thursday and I, Snigdha Singla, will be taking up the current affairs related to your international relations and some important topics related to your culture part, right? So the topics that we are going to discuss today are these three, the important topics for your objective type of paper as well as your subjective answer writing type of papers. Whichever government exam you are attempting, UPSC, state civil services or another allied examination of state government, everywhere all of these topics will be very important for you. For your general understanding also these topics are important. So the first topic that we will discuss is about the global hunger index, right? The components of the index and the criticism that India has done of this index with regard to India's ranking. The second important topic will be related to the UNSC 1267 committee. Very often this name appears in the news and we get confused. Students are usually confused that what it actually is. So we will have just the basic brief understanding of what this committee is and what kind of list it is producing, for what purpose, right? The third important, very important topic that we are going to discuss today, very important from your history or cultural part. Now every government exam has culture as an important component of their examination. Be it the objective type or be it the subjective type papers, everywhere you will get questions from culture part. So in that regard, an important development in the current week has happened, that is the decision to set up the Lothal National Heritage Complex. That is what we will be discussing in detail, relevance of Lothal and the features of this complex that has been decided to be set up by the government, right? So let's begin the discussion. Firstly, we will see the first topic, that is the Global Hunger Index. So the Global Hunger Index is an annual report, right? Every year annual report, yearly report on the hunger, status of hunger, status of nutrition, you can say, of a country, status of nutrition levels in a country, right? This report, it endeavors to measure or assess the performance of a country on its nutritional levels, how the country is performing with regard to the nutritional attainments of the population. That is what is assessed by this report. Good afternoon to everyone who is joining us. Yamandeep, Indrani, good afternoon to you, right? So we are discussing this Global Hunger Index, right? It's an yearly report assessing the nutritional levels of the population of a particular country, right? So it is ranking more than 100 countries every year depending on the performance of that country on various nutrition parameters, right? So now it it tracks hunger on global level, regional level, country levels, right? Region matlab global means the entire world, right? Region can be Asia, Asia Pacific, right? It can be African region, it can be Latin America, right? So on regional basis also it gives us the data that this region is performing in this manner, this region is performing in a well manner, and this region is lagging in the nutritional attainments, things like that. And on country wise basis also it is assessing the nutrition levels in more than 100 countries, right? So it provides a comprehensive report of the status of nutrition in a particular country, in a particular region, and overall the nutritional levels of the entire world, right? So it's a very important report to assess the human development levels of any country, because nutrition is very important part of the human, overall human development, right? Only when you have good nutrition, only when you have good food, you will be building good physical strength, you will be building good mental strength, right? Bachpan mein there might be people who might have watched the cartoon Popeye, right? you used to see that how he would eat spinach and he will get that physical strength, he will get that mental strength, right? So that is an indicator of good nutrition. When the population of a country has good nutrition, they will be performing, they will be contributing in the development of that nation, right? That is why these indices are very important, so that countries can be nudged in the direction towards performing well on the status of nutrition, right? किस कंट्री ने कितना काम किया है उस कंट्री में हंगर को रिड्यूस करने के लिए, न्यूट्रिशन को प्रमोट करने के लिए, फूड अवेलेबिलिटी को, फूड क्वालिटी को इंश्योर करने के लिए, दैट इज व्हाट इज असेस्ड बाय दिस रिपोर्ट, राइट? नाउ रिपोर्ट जज कैसे करती है एक कंट्री की परफॉर्मेंस? व्हाट आर द पैरामीटर्स दैट आर यूज्ड बाय दिस रिपोर्ट टू जज द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ अ कंट्री, राइट? सो दिस रिपोर्ट यूजेस these 4 parameters. This report uses 4 parameters to assess the performance of a country on the nutritional attainments, right? So now what are those 4 parameters? Undernourishment, that what is the proportion of population of a country that does not has the basic nutritional requirements, right? For example, let's say कि 2000 calories are the basic requirement of a male, let's say in a nation, right? अगर एक इंसान को, एक मेल बॉडी को इतनी कैलोरीज मिलेंगी, that will be counted as good nutrition, right? So the report will assess that how many male population, how much male population of the country is getting this kind of calories, this number of calories, right? The people who are not getting these number of calories, they will be marked as undernourished, right? So that is how the first parameter will work, undernourishment, measurement of the proportion of the population, right, facing chronic deficiency of dietary energy intake, ठीक है? dietary energy, the calories that we are measuring, right? कितनी calories, adequate number of calories are being taken up or not, that is the first parameter that will be assessed in this report, right? Now the second parameter that the report uses is child stunting, that is low height for age, राइट? आप देखिए कि अगर आपको गुड न्यूट्रिशन मिलेगा, दैट विल हेल्प इन योर फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट, एज आई सेड. सो व्हाट डज फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट मीन्स? द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ योर बॉडी, योर हाइट, योर बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर, everything will depend on the kind of nutrition that you are taking in, right? Now if a person who is higher in age but has a small height, right? बहुत सारे लोग आप देखेंगे स्पेशली इन दी पुअरर सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी दैट दे हैव लो हाइट एज कंपेयर टू देयर एज, राइट? 18 साल के होंगे बट उनकी एज मे बी लाइक अ 9-year-old नॉर्मल मैन, राइट? सो वो कब होता है? व्हेन दे आर नॉट गेटिंग एडिक्वेट न्यूट्रिशन दैट कैन हेल्प सपोर्ट देयर comprehensive bodily development, right? So that is what is stunting, when your height is not as per your age, right? So that is the second parameter that is assessed by this report. जितने ज़्यादा children जो इंडिया में हैं उनकी height अपनी age के according नहीं होगी, that will indicate the level of malnutrition or poor nutrition in that country, right? Third is child wasting, that is calculating weight for height, right? देखिए आप, you might have seen in your schools medical checkups used to happen and they used to measure your height, they used to measure your weight, right? What was the significance of taking those numbers, right? The significance was that they were trying to measure the level of nutritional attainments that you have, right? They will check that whether your height and weight numbers are in proportion, right? Are they low? That means you are malnourished. If they are higher, that means you are on the obese side, or you are prone to lifestyle diseases like obesity, diabetes and all that stuff, right? So that is wasting, child wasting weight for health, right? And finally they will check the levels of child mortality, that how many child or how many children die before attaining the age of 5 in a country, right? Based on the numbers of these 4 parameters, right? How can you remember it? Let's say make a mnemonic: W sum, child wasting, child stunting, undernourishment, child mortality, right? सम W sum से आप याद कर सकते हैं, ये 4 पैरामीटर्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इन पे क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं, राइट? सो इन 4 इंडिकेटर्स के बेसिस पे द कंसर्न्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस they tell us that what is the level of hunger in a country, right? Now who is responsible for actually giving this global hunger index? The global hunger index is presented by the works of 2 international non-profit organizations, 2 organization international NGOs जिसे आप कहते हैं, वो इन्वॉल्व है इसमें. फर्स्ट इज कंसर्न वर्ल्ड वाइड. ये भी इंफॉर्मेशन आप लिख लीजिए क्योंकि ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप क्वेश्चंस में ये पूछा जाता है, राइट? विच एजेंसीज आर इन्वॉल्व, सो उसमें आपको पता होना चाहिए. वर्ल्ड बैंक वगैरह इसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. दिस इज प्रेजेंटेड बाय द कंसर्न वर्ल्ड वाइड along with World Hunger Health, right? These 2 NPOs combinedly present the global hunger index, World Hunger Hill Life, right? Based on 4 parameters. They give their rankings of the countries based on 4 parameters which you can learn with the mnemonic W sum: child wasting, child stunting, undernourishment and mortality, child mortality, right? इन 4 पैरामीटर्स पे कंट्रीज को असेस करके ये उनकी रैंकिंग्स प्रेजेंट करेंगे, राइट? नाउ दिस इज very important information for you. Do remember it, write it in your notes and keep revising it on a regular basis, right? Now see, India has criticized the findings of this report. India has criticized the findings of the report, not just this year but the previous year also, right? India's Ministry of Women and Child Development, which is the major agency involved in ensuring nutrition for the Indian population, it has said that it does not agree with the findings of global hunger index, that the findings of global hunger index seem to be biased and not well researched, right? So Indian government, you can say, is criticizing the findings of the report. What is the reason for India's criticism? Firstly, India says that the 3 out of 4 parameters, 3 out of 4 parameters of the indice are measuring the child nutrition levels. ठीक है, जैसे हमने अभी 4 पैरामीटर्स किए, उसमें से 3 देखिए, चाइल्ड स्टंटिंग, चाइल्ड वेस्टिंग, चाइल्ड मोर्टैलिटी. 3 parameters are only judging the nutrition levels of the children of the country, right? So the ministry says that how can the calculation based on this parameters can be an indicator for the nutrition levels of the entire population of the country. ठीक है, आपके पैरामीटर्स जो है वो मेजॉरिटी चाइल्ड का डाटा दे रहे हैं, आपको चाइल्ड न्यूट्रिशन का डाटा दे रहे हैं. So how can you say that this is the representative of the nutrition levels of entire India, right? So that is why the methodology of GHI has been questioned by India, right? So that is the first criticism that India has imposed on this index, right? Second criticism that Indian government has levied is the opinion poll used to make this index, right? Government of India says that these organizations came up with this data that they have presented in Global Hunger Index by taking an opinion poll of a small proportion, that is 3000 people's opinion poll was taken to build this data, right? एक 3000 लोगों की population में they assessed all these 4 parameters and they came out with their findings, right? Now the government of India says India is a population of 1.3 billion plus population, ठीक है? इंडिया में बिलियन से भी ज़्यादा लोग रहते हैं, 1.3 बिलियन से भी ज़्यादा लोग रहते हैं. सो ये 3000 का सेट जो आपने सैम्पल जो आपने यूज़ किया है टू बिल्ड दिस इंडेक्स, हाउ कैन दिस इंडिकेट द हेल्थ, द न्यूट्रिशन लेवल्स ऑफ such a large population? So Indian government says this is a very small minuscule sample to judge the condition of entire nation which has a huge population compared to the sample size, right? So again the methodology of the hunger index has been questioned by India, right? Also the government says that India made lot of efforts during COVID-19 to ensure food security of its population. इंडिया ने 80 करोड़ लोगों को नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट के अंडर फ्री खाना या नॉमिनल रेट्स पे खाना प्रोवाइड किया, बट इन एफर्ट्स को द रिपोर्ट इज़ नॉट रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द एफर्ट्स दैट द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट इज़ बिन मेकिंग टू रिड्यूस द माल न्यूट्रिशन इन इंडिया और टू रिड्यूस हंगर लेवल्स इन इंडिया, right? So Indian government is not accepting the findings of this indice, saying that the findings seem to be biased and not very well researched, right? This is why this entire controversy was there. But now in conclusion, what can we say as aspirants, what can we say as observers, right? So what we can say that India needs to utilize this data well. India needs to see this indice as a challenge to be achieved, ठीक है? इंडिया को ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि इस इंडाइसिस के थ्रू देर इज़ एन अटेम्प्ट टू डिमीन इंडिया, टू मेलाइन द इमेज ऑफ इंडिया, राइट? इंडिया शुड इंस्टेड take the poor performance on this indice as a challenge, as a target to be achieved in the coming years, right? And to be changed in the coming years, ठीक है? इंडिया को ग्लोबल हंगर इंडेक्स को एज अ पैरामीटर सेट करके इंडिया में इतना हंगर पे काम करना चाहिए कि इन अ फ्यू ईयर्स the organizations presenting this report, they themselves give a positive data about India, because India works on the hunger levels of its population, right? जैसे आपने देखा होगा वर्ल्ड बैंक की ईज ऑफ डूइंग इंडेक्स की रिपोर्ट में इंडिया यूज टू फिगर इन वेरी बैकवर्ड्स, यू कैन से अगर 150 कंट्रीज है तो इंडिया की रैंक 150 के करीब आती थी. बट देन इंडिया वर्कड ऑन इट्स ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को स्मूथ करने के लिए इंडिया ने बहुत इनिशिएटिव्स लिए, जिसकी वजह से इंडिया की रैंक केम अंडर बिलो 100, 50 की रेंज में, 55 की रेंज में इंडिया की रैंक आने लग गई, right? So the way India took that report as a challenge and worked on ease of doing business, in the similar manner, instead of fighting for the findings of the report, India should try to take it as a challenge and work towards achievement of the hunger or removal of hunger goals, right? That is how you can conclude if a subjective question is asked on this matter, right? So that is all about this issue. This is a question that was asked in one of the UPSC examination 2017 के prelims में. The question related to global hunger index was asked, that which of these are the parameters that are there in the global hunger index, right? So अभी हमने 4 parameters किए हैं. Child mortality, wasting is there, undernourishment is there, anemia is not there. So the option will be 1, 2 and 4 only, right? इस तरीके से questions आपको पूछे जा सकते हैं indices पे, and this is an important indice, right? Now the second important topic that we will discuss is the UNSC list and the UNSC 1267 committee. UNSC, right? इससे पहले ये कमिटी के बारे में डिस्कस करने से पहले आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क यू ऑल व्हाट इज यूएनएससी. इन द प्रीवियस लेक्चर्स वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड यूएन एंड इट्स ऑर्गन्स एंड इट्स बॉडीज, right? So you tell me, what is UNSC according to you? What do you understand by UNSC? What are its purposes? What kind of members does it has? How many members are the parties to this? So as I have discussed earlier, UN, the international peace organization set up under the world after the World War II, 1945 में, right? It has 6 organs, main organs working in various fields, and a UN development group of agencies, राइट, जिसमें ILO, वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ऐसी बहुत सारी यूनेस्को डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड एजेंसीज पाई गई हैं, राइट. एंड वन ऑफ द मेन ऑर्गन्स इज UNSC, दैट इज यूनाइटेड नेशंस सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल, द मेन एग्जीक्यूटिव body of UN, right? The body that is involved in implementing the decisions of UN, right? So this body, it has 15 members in total, right? 5 permanent members called as P5 members. आप बहुत बार न्यूज़ में सुनते हैं, USA, China, Russia, UK and France are the P5 members, and then 10 non-permanent members which change every 2 years and are selected from the UN General Assembly, right? This we have discussed in great detail in some previous lectures, so please check out those videos to know these details, right? So now this UNSC has created a UNSC 1267 committee, right? Now this committee was established with the aim to counter check terrorism in the world, right? So it is also called as Daesh and Al-Qaeda committee. Daesh and Al-Qaeda committee. Daesh refers to the terrorist group that we know as ISIS, right? Al-Qaeda is another important terrorist organization that is responsible for the Twin Tower attacks in USA or the 9/11 attacks in USA, right? इसी वजह से USA entered Afghanistan to completely clear out this organization, right? So these are important terrorist organization. Many other such terrorist organizations are there that threaten the peace, security, stability of the world, right? So to counter check the terrorist activities of these terrorist organizations and to ensure security in the world, this committee has been made to work on the terrorists that are threatening the security interests of the world, right? So that is what is UNSC, right? It is an organization first set up in 1999 excuse me, and then strengthened after the 2001 attacks. जो 9/11 अटैक्स हुए थे यूएस पे, उसके बाद इसको सीरियसली कंसिडर किया गया, राइट? इसको दाएश या अलकायदा सैंक्शंस कमिटी भी कहा जाता है, दाएश और अलकायदा सैंक्शंस कमिटी, राइट? एंड इट हैज़ मेंबर्स फ्रॉम यूएनएससी. यूएनएससी के 15 मेंबर्स है, जैसे हमने अभी डिस्कस किया, 5 परमानेंट 10 non-permanent, all are the members of this committee, right? Now this committee presents a list. You will hear about that name also in the news every day or every in few days, that is UNSC 1267 list. That is basically the list of global terrorists. So ऐसे बहुत सारे इंडिविजुअल हैं जिसके नेम्स हैव बीन एडेड टू दिस लिस्ट that are watched by the World Security Organizations. The funding to these terrorists is controlled, is sanctioned by the World Financial Organization and all the countries. ठीक है. सो इन बड़े टेररिस्ट को काउंटर करने के लिए, उनकी फाइनेंसिंग को चौक करने के लिए ये लिस्ट तैयार की जाती है, राइट? एंड इंडिया हैज़ बिन प्रपोजिंग डिफरेंट टेररिस्ट टू बी एडेड टू दिस लिस्ट. जैसे कि बहुत ही मशहूर नाम जो आप इस रिगार्डिंग सुनते रहते हैं, दैट इज़ मसूद अजहर, JEM के chief, right, who was responsible for, who has been responsible on multiple attacks, terrorist attacks on India. This person, India has been trying to get this person added to this global list, 1267 list, where the funding to this terrorist can be choked, right? So ऐसे बहुत सारे टेररिस्ट हैं जिनको इस लिस्ट में ऐड करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, बट हर बार ये होता है दैट China, which is a permanent member of UNSC, that tries to block the terrorists that are to be added to this list, right? China अपनी रीजनिंग देता है, बट लिस्ट में ऐड करने के लिए tries to sabotage India's efforts और US efforts to add terrorists to this list. ठीक है, ये लिस्ट में वही लोग ऐड होंगे जब सारी कंट्रीज अपना अप्रूवल दे देंगी to be added to this list, right? And China acts that country that creates some kind of hiccups in adding terrorists to this list on behalf of Pakistan, it is said, right? So आपको basically जानना है कि ये कमिटी क्या है और ये लिस्ट क्या है, right? ये दो चीज़ें याद रखनी है because ये न्यूज़ में आती रहती हैं, so don't get confused, just try to remember this, right? This is related to countering the activities by dominant terrorists or terrorist groups in the world, right? Now the next very important, very crucial topic for today's discussion is Lothal, the oldest dock in the world, is going to get a heritage complex, right? Now what is this heritage complex that we will be discussing? So Indian government has decided to set up a National Maritime Heritage Complex, right? Maritime मतलब sea related जो हमारी cultural heritage है उसको protect करने के लिए there is a complex that will be built at Gujarat's Lothal site, right? Gujarat's Lothal site, right? Now what will this complex be doing? See, this complex will work towards preserving India's maritime heritage, right? इंडिया की जितना भी हिस्ट्री है रिलेटेड टू मैरिटाइम वर्क्स, सी ट्रेड, सी शिपिंग, ऑल दोज ट्रेड रूट्स, जो भी हमारी मैरिटाइम सफियर दैट इज सी रिलेटेड हिस्ट्री है, उसको इस म्यूजियम, इस कॉम्प्लेक्स के थ्रू कैप्चर किया जाएगा, right? Now what are the main features of this initiative, this complex? So first important initiative is Lothal mini recreation site or effort will be created through augmented or immersive technology. So इसमें क्या होगा, like you might have heard about virtual reality, जैसे कि गेमिंग में बहुत यूज़ होती है. You put on goggles and then you play the game where you feel like you are moving in a forest or you are moving on a bridge hanging in the air, right? So इसमें भी क्या किया जाएगा, that immersive technology, that is virtual reality, will be used to give you an experience of the Lothal site, right? कैसे लोथल में लोग रहते थे, लोथल की सिटीज़ कैसी थी, उसमें हाउसेस कैसे थे, लोग डेली बेसिस पे काम कैसे करते थे, all of that you will be able to experience by this Lothal mini recreation, right? Facilitated by the immersive technology, this recreation facility will allow you to experience the life of Lothal time, right? Lothal बहुत important Indus Valley civilization site है. For you might have read in your ancient history, a very important part for all the government examinations, and ancient history में the history of Indus Valley civilization is very important, right? It is also known as the Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization because Harappa was the first city of Indus Valley civilization to be discovered, right? So इसमें हरप्पा के अलावा और बहुत सारी important cities हैं, जैसे कि मोहनजोदारो, right? जैसे कि राखीगढ़ी हरियाणा में है जो, right? ऐसे ही बहुत important sites जो गुजरात में हैं. गुजरात की important Indus Valley civilization sites include लोथल, धोलावीरा, right? So इसी में से इस लोथल साइट पे ये मैरीटाइम म्यूजियम कॉम्प्लेक्स विल बी built on this important Indus Valley civilization site present in the Gujarat state. This museum will be made, right? The first feature of this complex is recreation of the life, architecture, the structure of Lothal city, right? You will be given that goggles and you will be able to experience the life of Lothal. ठीक है, आप पुराने टाइम में जाके एंशियंट टाइम पे लोथल के लोग कैसे रहते थे, डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज़ में कैसे इन्वॉल्व होते थे, दैट यू विल बी एबल टू एक्सपीरियंस, राइट. Then the second feature of this complex is the theme parks. 4 theme parks will be built, right? Based on various themes, 4 parks बनाए जाएंगे, right? जैसे कि मेमोरियल थीम पार्क बनाया जाएगा मैरीटाइम एंड नेवी के ऊपर, जहां आपको इंफॉर्मेशन अवेयरनेस दी जाएगी अबाउट आवर शिप्स, अबाउट आवर नेवी, अबाउट आवर ट्रेड, etc. That kind of theme park will be made. Then a theme park giving you information about the climate challenges, climate change, right? Environment, trees, all that will be made. जैसे कि ये आप एक एग्जाम्पल देखिए, एक ऐसा थीम पार्क जहाँ क्लाइमेट के थीम से रिलेटेड ऑल द एक्टिविटीज़ विल बी देयर कैन बी मूवीज़ देयर कैन बी राइड्स देयर कैन बी आर्ट गैलरीज इन दैट एरिया, राइट. All of those will be focused on providing climate education to you, right? So that kind of theme park will be built. Then adventure park will also be built. ठीक है, इस complex में adventure park where you can indulge in all these kind of adventure activities that will also be shown in this park. ठीक है, so ये बहुत important feature है इस complex का, that 4 theme parks will be built. Right. The next important feature is lighthouse museum will be developed. Right. Now what is a lighthouse and lighthouse museum? So lighthouse क्या होता है, आप जैसे see this picture that when the ships are navigating in the sea or in the waters, they need some kind of ground assistance. ठीक है, उनको अपने नेविगेशन के लिए, पाथ देखने के लिए बहुत बार ऐसे लाइट हाउसेस एट द एज ऑफ द सी आर मेड टू गिव डायरेक्शन टू द शिप्स दैट आर कमिंग टू कोस्ट और दैट आर मूविंग वाया योर कोस्ट. सो इसे लाइट हाउस कहते हैं क्योंकि यहाँ से लाइट थ्रो करके शिप्स को नेविगेशन में हेल्प किया जाता है, राइट. सो दिस इज़ व्हाट इज़ अ लाइट हाउस. आपका सी है, इसके इसके साइड में ये एक लाइट हाउस की बिल्डिंग बनी होगी, राइट. सो अब ये नेशनल हेरिटेज म्यूजियम में, नेशनल मैरीटाइम हेरिटेज कॉम्प्लेक्स में एक लाइट हाउस म्यूजियम भी बनाया जाएगा, राइट. देयर विल बी दिस बिल्डिंग दैट विल बी मेड and this will be converted into a museum having objects related to lighthouses. ठीक है, इंडिया में जितने भी लाइट हाउसेस हैं, स्पेशली लोथल पे अगर कोई लाइट हाउस है या गुजरात के एरिया में जो लाइट हाउसेस हैं, वहाँ के इम्पॉर्टेंट हेरिटेज ऑब्जेक्ट्स को इस म्यूज़ियम में डिस्प्ले किया जाएगा. म्यूजियम्स आर मेंट टू डिस्प्ले द हेरिटेज वैल्यूज़, द ऑब्जेक्ट्स दैट वर देयर इन द पास्ट टाइम्स, राइट. आप किसी भी म्यूज़ियम में जाइए, किसी हवेली के, किसी फोर्ट के म्यूज़ियम में जाते हैं तो आपको क्या दिखने को मिलता है? हाउ दी किंग्स यूज टू डाइन, उनका डाइनिंग टेबल दिखेगा, उनका बेड दिखेगा, उनके यूटेंसिल्स दिखेंगे, उनका इकोनॉमिक मैकेनिज्म दिखेगा. वैसे ही लाइट हाउस म्यूजियम में यू विल बी एबल टू सी द ऑब्जेक्ट्स, द टेक्नोलॉजीज दैट आर यूज्ड इन वेरियस लाइट हाउसेस, राइट. सो ये इम्पॉर्टेंट लाइट हाउस म्यूजियम भी इस कॉम्प्लेक्स के अंडर बनाया जाएगा. दैट इज़ द थर्ड इम्पॉर्टेंट फीचर. एंड फाइनली, यू नो, फोर्थ फीचर इज 14 different galleries will be made highlighting India's maritime heritage. इंडिया के जितने भी सी रिलेटेड हेरिटेज है उसको रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए there will be 14 galleries where you will be able to see paintings, objects, etc. related to your maritime, right. आपके sea trade, sea routes, sea related objects, information, entire knowledge about India's maritime connectivity with the world will be displayed in these galleries. ठीक है, so ये important features हैं. Now why do you think has Lothal been chosen as a site to build this maritime heritage complex? ठीक है, there are many cities in India that have that connectivity with the seas. Why has Lothal been picked up for this project? You just try to tell me from your knowledge, what do you think can be the possible reason? Why has Lothal been picked up to build this maritime heritage complex? So the reason is that Lothal is a very important one of the old city. Shreyans, yes, it is one of the old city, but the major reason why Lothal has been picked up to build this complex is that it is the oldest or the first man-made dockyard of India. फर्स्ट मैन मेड डॉकयार्ड ऑफ इंडिया, राइट. डॉकयार्ड मतलब ऐसी प्लेस जहाँ पे शिप्स यूज टू स्टैंड, right. This is a dockyard where ships used to come from various areas and they used to place themselves in this area. ठीक है, तो इंडिया में लोथल was the first man-made dockyards where all these ships could come, they could bring the material to India or they could take the material for trade from India. So लोथल एक बहुत ही important ट्रेडिंग सेंटर था एंशियंट इंडिया का. लोथल वॉज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रेडिंग सेंटर ऑफ इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन ऑफ एंशियंट इंडिया, राइट, बिकॉज इट हैड दिस आर्टिफिशियल डॉकयार्ड बिल्ट अप. ठीक है, इंटायर स्टेट आप गुजरात देखें, इंटायर गुजरात इटसेल्फ इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इंडिया. सी, अगर आप इंडिया का मैप देखें रफली, सो द स्टेट ऑफ गुजरात, it is the one that is linked to seas, it is the one that provides India's way to this West Asia. जो आप ईरान या आगे यूरोप की बात करें, यहाँ पे रीच करने के लिए यू कैन रीच वाया सीज, या आपने अफ्रीका की तरफ जाना हो, राइट. दीज वर द एरियाज वेयर इंडिया यूज टू ट्रेड. ठीक है, मेसोपोटेमियन सिविलाइजेशन थी, ईरानियन सिविलाइजेशन थी आपकी, देन योर नाइल सिविलाइजेशन, ऑल दिस सिविलाइजेशन, इजिप्शियन सिविलाइजेशन दैट इंडिया यूज टू इंटरैक्ट विद इन द इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन टाइम्स. राइट, उनके लिए गुजरात और द सिटी ऑफ लोथल, it used to act as an important point of trade with the rest of the world. ठीक है, सो ये बहुत ही important city थी to ensure, to facilitate India's trade with the rest of the world. That is why Lothal is very significant for us, and that is why the maritime is related to seas. The maritime heritage complex is being built in Lothal, क्योंकि ये हमारा फ्लैग बियरर है सी ट्रेड में, राइट. दिस वॉज द फर्स्ट आर्टिफिशियल डॉकयार्ड दैट इंडिया डेवलप्ड, राइट. सो नाउ द साइट इटसेल्फ, दैट इज लोथल, बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस. सो उससे पहले आप ये सारी इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन की इंपॉर्टेंट साइट्स देखिए, राइट. यू सी, वेट, right. So these sites, these are from Gujarat, Lothal, Dholavira, very important Indus Valley sites. Then you see Harappa, the first Indus Valley civilization site. Kalibangan in Rajasthan, again a very important Indus Valley civilization site. Rakhigarhi, जो कि latest discovered Harappan site है, but very important Harappan site, that is there in Haryana, right. And then you have Mohenjo-daro, that is present in today's Pakistan. इसमें आपने मूवी भी देखी है, right, ऋतिक रोशन की. that is also related to your Indus Valley civilization. ठीक है, ये major sites हैं, and इनमें से Lothal is one of the most important sites of Indus Valley civilization, because Lothal was the trade center of our Indus Valley civilization. जो Indus Valley में लोग रहते थे उस टाइम पे, they used to use Lothal for their trade with the rest of the world, especially Africa and West Asia, right. So beads बेचते थे, gems बेचते थे, ornaments बेचते थे Indus Valley people, and all of that used to move from Lothal, right. So now this site is, was built in 2200 BC, you can say. And Lothal as a word, if you make break, it will mean the mound of the dead. Lothal गुजराती में इसका मतलब है the mound of the dead, right. ये कुछ factual information है, इसको आप याद रखेंगे इन points को. It will be, helping you to answer objective type questions. There can always be a question that which of the following Indus Valley civilization means the mound of the dead, right. सो आपको 4 ऑप्शन दे दिए जाएंगे, धोलावीरा, राखीगढ़ी, मोहनजोदारो, लोथल. आपको उनमें से चूज करना होगा, राइट. सो दैट इज वाई दीज काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन आर इम्पॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, मेक दिस मैप विद यू, राइट दीज पॉइंट्स, दीज विल हेल्प यू आंसर क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू लोथल एंड इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन, राइट. देर आर मोर फीचर्स दैट आर रिलेटेड टू लोथल साइट. ठीक है, ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट साइट है, एंड इसे फर्स्ट टाइम एस्कावेट या डिस्कवर SR राव के द्वारा किया गया था. Also a fact that you need to remember, right. It is present at the confluence of Sabarmati river with its tributary, that is Bhogava. ठीक है, जहाँ ये साबरमती बहती है, इसकी ट्रिब्यूटरी भोगावा जहाँ इसे आके मिलती है, उस एरिया में लोथल का एस्टैब्लिशमेंट हुआ है, राइट. सो दिस इज द ओनली साइट, this is the first site, you can say, in the Indus Valley civilization, first and only site where an artificial dockyard has been built by the use of bricks. ठीक है, तो इसीलिए ये बहुत important है. यहाँ पे bead making industry के evidences भी पाए गए हैं, right. There have been remains related to bead making that have been discovered in this area, right. And also there have been evidences that have been found that there used to be trade happening from Lothal towards the Persian Gulf. जो ये हम important area discuss कर रहे हैं, it can also be referred to as the Persian Gulf area. So how do we get to know that यहाँ तक trade जाता था? How? वी गेट एविडेंसेस इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सील्स या स्टैम्प्स जो पुराने टाइम पे ट्रेड में यूज़ होती थी. सो वो पर्शियन गल्फ में जैसी सील्स पाई जाती हैं वैसी सिमिलर सील्स हमें लोथल से मिली हैं. राइट, अ पर्शियन गल्फ सील हैज़ बीन फाउंड इन लोथल इंडिकेटिंग लोथल्स ट्रेडिंग लिंक्स विद द पर्शियन गल्फ कंट्रीज. ठीक है, सो दिस इज़ अगेन अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. आपको MCQs में ये पॉइंट्स दे दिए जाएंगे और साइट आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए कहा जाएगा. दैट इज़ वाई रिमेंबर ऑल दीज फैक्ट्स. राइट, नाउ this is the dockyard that was built in Lothal. This is not the picture of Lothal, but this is how a dockyard can look like. ठीक है, ये तो modern dockyards की picture है. Right, now another important feature of Lothal was social differentiation. Right, that means the society in Lothal or in the Indus Valley civilization was divided. ठीक है, सारा equal society नहीं थी. देयर वॉज स्ट्रैटिसिफिकेशन इन द सोसाइटी. कुछ रिच लोग होंगे, कुछ मीडियम लोग होंगे, कुछ पुअर लोग होंगे, कुछ पेजेंट्स होंगे, कुछ वर्कर्स होंगे, कुछ क्राफ्ट्समैन होंगे, कुछ ट्रेडर्स होंगे. राइट, सो देयर विल बी डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स ऑफ पीपल दैट विल बी प्रेजेंट इन दिस इंडस वैली साइट एंड सो सोशल डिफरेंशिएशन वॉज देयर. सोशल डिफरेंशिएशन को प्रूव करने के लिए एविडेंस क्या है, हम कैसे कह सकते हैं कि लोथल में सोशल डिफरेंशिएशन थी? क्योंकि देखिए, पहले तो द सिटी वॉज डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 पार्ट्स, अपर टाउन एंड लोअर टाउन. Upper town usually had big houses with proper drainage system, with proper civic amenities like underground drains, bathing spaces, potable water. वो सब यहाँ मिलता है, indicating that rich people used to live here. राइट, अब आप खुद ही देखिए, अगर आप रास्ते में जाते हैं, बहुत बड़ा बहुत सुंदर घर आप देखें, you will immediately identify that a person having good amount of money might be living in this place. Right, so ऐसे ही जब आप लोथल के आर्किटेक्चर को देखें, राइट, दैट लोथल सिटी दैट हैज़ बिन फाउंड, वहाँ पे डिफरेंट स्ट्रक्चर्स देखे गए हैं. सो उनको अब ऑब्जर्व करें. सो एक अपर टाउन देखा गया, एक लोअर टाउन. एंड अपर टाउन वेयर most of the houses are big and full with amenities like underground drainage, private bathing spaces, potable water facilities, right, bigger houses, all that, right, indicating rich people used to be there. Right, and then there are lower town found features like small houses or barracks or condition, structures like workshops have been found. जो आज की हम वर्कशॉप्स, बैरक्स वगैरह देखते हैं, वैसे छोटे बड़े स्ट्रक्चर्स भी वहाँ देखे गए हैं, इंडिकेटिंग दैट सम पुअरर सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी और नॉट सो वेल एंडोर्ड सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी यूज्ड टू लिव देयर. राइट, सो इन सब चीज़ों को देख के इट हैज़ बीन सेड दैट सोशल डिफरेंशिएशन वॉज देयर इन Indus Valley civilization, which have been mainly witnessed in Lothal and Harappa. Right, धोलावीरा वगैरह में आप देखेंगे, you might not find the lower town और the upper town. ऐसा बहुत सारी sites हैं जहाँ पे ये division नहीं देखी गई है, but Lothal is a place where such social differentiation has been witnessed. ठीक है, so that is why this is a key feature of Lothal again. Right, so these are all the important points related to Lothal. Right, and the Indian National Maritime Heritage Complex. ठीक है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है आपके प्री मेंस ऑब्जेक्टिव सब्जेक्टिव हर टाइप के पेपर के लिए. राइट, सो ट्राई टू अटेम्प्ट दिस क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस कल्चरल आस्पेक्ट. ठीक है, एंड यू कैन गेट द आंसर्स फ्रॉम आवर website and our YouTube channel. Try to write an answer to this and post it on the website. You will get it evaluated. Right, hope you have learned something from this discussion. If you have any doubts, you can post it in the comment box. We'll reply to that. Thank you so much for joining.